What's up, fish nerds? This is Carlos bringing you the very first video on this channel. This isn't my first fish video, but it is the first video on this channel. I did have another channel where I was posting videos. Link will be in the description to that. Hopefully, if you are a subscriber over there, you've come over to check this channel out. I do plan on being a lot more regular and consistent here on this channel than I was over there. Things just got crazy busy over the summer. Projects, work, life, things got crazy, so I wasn't able to put out as much content as I wanted to. Hopefully that's going to change, and I'll be able to put out a lot more content. I want to do updates on all the things that I started in those other videos, show you what's going on with the breeding projects, and also maybe even do some instructional videos, how-tos, maybe some DIY stuff, you know, that kind of good stuff. And tell me what you guys want to see. Throw something in the comments. If there's a type of video you want to see, if there's something you want me to talk about, let me know. I want to put out stuff that you guys want to watch. That said, I'll show you what I've got going on in here for right now. I did get the shed built in the backyard, so I was able to get all the yard equipment and stuff out of here. And I know this looks real cluttered over here right now, but it's not near as bad as it was. And I did have all kinds of lawn equipment and lawnmowers, weed eaters, and all kinds of stuff all the way out to like right here and out to about right here. So it was just a mess over here, but I was able to get all that out and out into the shed. So I've got room for these racks now. So I was able to get the racks built. So I've got 3 10-gallons up top and then 2 40 breeders. And then I've still got the 30 and 20 gallons over here on the same rack where they were before. And just going through the fish of what I've got right now. These are koi swordtail fry that have grown out, and they are ready to go now. They're sexing out really nice. Just really beautiful fish. Really like these fish. And then also got the blue ram's horns doing really well in this tank and several other tanks where they've spread around as I've moved some plants around and things like that. And down here I've got my breeding groups of the koi swordtails and also of the guppies, and got a bunch of fry in here excuse me, that have survived in this Java moss and grown out a little bit, and looks like we've got to see if I can focus in on them. A bunch of brand new fry that have showed up either last night or today. That's what's going on there. Up here, I've got some mixed platies that are waiting to go out. These are listed on eBay right now. So they're just waiting to be sold before they get shipped out. Got ram's horns in here as well. This tank is guppy fry that are growing out. And what I've been doing is just, as a female is ready to give birth, rather than use a breeder trap or anything like that, I just move her up to one of these 10 gallons, let her drop all her fry. Then once she's dropped her fry, I just move her back down there with the group and let the fry grow out in these 10 gallons. And then as the fry begin to sex out, I move them down here. So most of these are females, because as the males have sexed out, I've dropped them down to here. But there are a few males in there that I need to go in and grab right now. And a lot of these ram's horns are the brown rather than the blue ram's horns, just they came in on the plants, and somehow they only ended up in this tank rather than the other tanks. So I'm using this as also an assassin snail breeding tank. Hopefully some of that will take off. So zoom in here, I've got some assassins in there. So hopefully they'll start breeding pretty well with a bunch of ram's horns to eat off of. And then over here I've got some swordtail fry that are growing out a little bit. I really like this half and half like that guy's got going on, and like this guy here where it's orange in the front and white in the back. I think that's really sharp. So I've got more swordtails growing out in the top 40 breeder that aren't quite ready to go out like these are, but are still too big to fit up here in the 10 gallons. And the male guppies are in here. And you see, they're not really breeding true, the guppies aren't, as far as coloration goes. I'm getting a lot of these really gorgeous looking sunburst colored, where they've got that sunburst orange all in their tails like that. I mean, it makes a gorgeous fish, but it's not really what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be a lot more, if I can focus in, like these blue guys here, because they're a platinum ivory blue mosaic half moon guppy is the full title of the strain, and they were supposed to breed a lot more true than what they are, so I'm a little disappointed there. But like I said, that these are still gorgeous fish. They're just not what they were supposed to be, and the quality hasn't exactly been ideal. I've had to cull a lot, and there's probably still some more that I'll need to pull from the group. But overall, still a gorgeous fish, and I'm just going to be selective and try and get more like this guy here, where it's that real gorgeous blue mosaic look. And these guys aren't fully grown out yet, so they'll still color up some more, and their tails will get a lot bigger and make a gorgeous fish. And then down here, I've got all kinds of these mixed platies, as well as the female guppies. But these platies are the results of my summer tubbing project. And you might remember that I had intended on using the koi swordtails for my summer tubbing project, but there's a little bit of a disaster story that I'll tell in a future video, so stay tuned for that. It's a pretty interesting story of some disasters that occurred and were also averted. It's interesting. The summer tubbing was eventually a success. You can tell by the number of fry here. I pulled in well over 100 fry after just 2.5, 3 months of 5 adult fish being outside. Maybe even 200 fry, I'm not sure. There was a lot of them. A lot of fry that I brought in from outside. So it ended up being a success, but there were definitely some battles lost at the beginning. So I'll do a future video to talk about that. And then I do have the super red bristlenose plecos. This is one of the females. Other females back there. And lessons learned and battles lost on that front. I did start out with 8 of the super red plecos, if you remember. As far as from that initial group that I purchased, I now only have 3. That was due to when they started out over here in the 30 as relatively small, you know, I mean, 1.5 to 2 inch fish, starting out over here before I got this rack built. Had issues where I came into the garage one day and just 2 of them had managed to climb up the air hose, fall out the back, and found them dead and dried out on the floor. Got it covered up, I thought, to where they couldn't escape anymore. Came back and another one had escaped, and then another one got bloat. You know, just different things like that. Whittled them down to the 3. But the 3 that I'd have left, I do have 1 male and 2 females, and they are absolutely gorgeous fish. I love them. And Daddy-O is actually in this cave. I don't think you can see because it's too dark back in there, but he's way back in there on their 3rd batch of eggs. And this guy here is from batch number 1. As early to mid-September, the eggs were laid on this batch, and then it was late September whenever they came out of the cave. And these are just gorgeous fish. I love these fish. And the batch was relatively small, which is fine for a first batch. There was about a dozen of them. There's 10 down in this tank, 1 or 2 still left up in this tank where they were actually born. I moved them down here for sentimental reasons. I actually intend on trying to keep as many of this first batch as I can, and or give them to friends and family, so that, you know, just because I'm sentimental like that, and it's the first time I've produced Pleco fry, and so I just want to keep them, whether in my house or at my brother-in-law's or a friend's house, just so I can say, you know what, that's one of the first Plecos I ever produced. That's from the very first batch. You know, call me a sentimental. And this is from the second batch. Reason I moved them down from up here to down there was just so I can keep the first and second batch separate, because there was only about 3 weeks difference in between them. I mean, they bred back to back. So, got the second batch up here. And what I ended up doing was, while the dad was up here in this cave on the second batch, I moved the females down here to this bottom tank along with those from the first batch, so that he would end up having a break up here without having to go right back in and breed again and guard those eggs. So I gave him about a 2-week break before I moved him back down here with the females. And the second night after being down here with the females, they'd already bred again, and he was already on another batch of eggs. So I expect those should be coming out of the cave in the next week or so. He's been sitting on those eggs for about 5 days, so maybe another week before they come out of the cave and he comes back out. So that's what I've got going on, guys. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe. I'm going to plan on doing a lot more episodes, I guess you call them episodes, a lot more videos, you know, as I do things out here, updates to changes I make or new things I start out. And also plan on doing just some instructional videos for those that are trying to get into the hobby. YouTube was a huge help to me when I was, you know, expanding beyond just the basics. So I'd like to do some stuff to help people that are trying to get into the hobby, just to get as much information out there as we can. We've got some great resources here on YouTube, guys that know what they're talking about and put out some great content. Not trying to compete with that, just trying to add to it. So if you like what I'm doing, subscribe. If there's some kind of video you want to see, if you've got ideas, things you'd like for me to do videos about, throw that down in the comments, let me know. And thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.